Tonight, a local family says their move turned into a nightmare after they say the moving company they hired held all of their stuff hostage and demanded thousands of dollars more than their contract originally required. CBS Philadelphia consumer reporter Josh Zadorowicz is in your corner.
And he has been looking into these allegations and has more information now that can help you protect yourself, Josh.
Yeah, guys, as if moving isn't stressful enough, right? We can report this family did finally get their things back, but not before they say they endured months of hassle.
It has been harrowing.
Those boxes behind Jennifer Laible are just some of the belongings she says she fought months to get back. She says a moving company held everything, furniture, appliances, or kids' toys, hostage inside this West Philadelphia warehouse.
It was hell. Sorry if I cry. Trying to explain to your children where their stuff has gone is devastating.
Last September, she and her husband signed a contract with a different company to move them from the Philly area to Florida.
So you thought you were doing everything right initially.
Absolutely.
And then your plans got sidetracked.
Unfortunately, when our original movers didn't show up with the appropriate equipment that we had been working with for 2.5 months and had signed a contract with.
So that happens and you're left scrambling.
Totally scrambling.
That same day, Jennifer found another mover online. She says cross-country movers quoted her around $16,000. And this email confirmation from a company representative shows she paid more than $10,000 of it up front. But as soon as the truck was loaded, she says, the trouble started. She says the company jacked up the price by thousands of dollars.
The amount changed by the day. Today it's $11,000. Tomorrow by this person it's $13,000. Next week it's $28,000.
That $28,000 balance Jennifer is referring to came in this notice from the company, threatening to auction off her belongings if it wasn't paid. In her mad dash, Jennifer admits she did not do her due diligence. When I did, I found a history of complaints.
So I started with the company's DOT registration, which you can search here in this federal database and see complaints going back 3 years. More than 24 have been filed against this company since 2023, alleging things like deceptive business practices, delivery issues, and similar hostage-like situations. The database doesn't show how those complaints were resolved, but I also Googled the 2 addresses and phone numbers listed here. Each led me to a Better Business Bureau profile for a business with a different name and the identity of the owner of each of the companies, Yeshua Vakeman.
CBS News Philadelphia found he has operated moving companies under several trade names, and he and several of his companies were civilly sued in 2018 by Florida's Attorney General. That complaint echoes many of Jennifer's allegations, saying his companies, quote, regularly used unskilled, untrained agents who often damaged or stole consumers' property and routinely provided deceptive lowball estimates, then extorted high fees by holding consumers' property hostage. In 2019, CBS News confronted Vakeman in Florida. He refused to talk other than to deny all of those accusations. He and his related companies formally denied the allegations in court. In 2020, they entered into a consent judgment that found them liable for hundreds of thousands of dollars. But ultimately, an agreement was reached, and they paid $78,000 for consumer restitution. CBS News Philadelphia made several attempts to get in touch with Vakeman. Neither he nor his lawyers responded to our requests for responses to specific questions, but an attorney for cross-country movers emailed this cease and desist letter to Jennifer, calling her statements to us and similar statements she made to the FBI and the Department of Transportation harassment. The letter stated CCM held Jennifer's goods because of unpaid contractual payments, but that ultimately an agreement was reached to release the belongings and cancel all remaining payments. Jennifer contends no further payments were due.
I'm grateful eternally that our stuff is safe. But those 4+ months of fighting for our stuff to be safe was something I hope no one ever has to go through like I did.
So the Department of Transportation says it is working on a new registration system in hopes of combating fraud that'll make it at least easier to identify and flag companies that do try to reopen under these new names like we see. It happens quite a bit, unfortunately.
Yeah, it sounds like they went through a nightmare there. So, Josh, what are other ways you can protect yourself?
I mean, look, you got to do your homework. I mean, you really can't make a fast judgment with this kind of thing. So, checking the DOT registration, every mover has got to have that. But even more so, you can actually see if you're movers licensed within the state. If you're just moving within the state, they need to have that as well. That can add some assurance. And then just generally speaking, experts say you want to get several estimates, 3, 4, 5 maybe.
Wow.
So that way you can see if maybe a price stands out because it's too low, and that would maybe be a red flag as well. And then, just make sure everything's in writing. And if someone, makes you pay a large fee or most of it up front, that's another big red flag as well.
So you got to do your research.
Yeah. Absolutely.
My goodness.
Thank you.
That's why you're here to do the research for us. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Josh.
If you have something you want Josh to look into, email him directly in your corner at cbs.com.